Hello and welcome to Moneyball Bets for July 22nd. How's everyone doing? My name is Eric from eTop21 Sports, and joining me as always is David, aka Bettor DP21. David, how are you doing today, my man?
Doing great, man. Just wish I could see a better board for the games today. It's a little dicey out there with a few rooks getting some debuts, and just not all really great value matchups on the board. So finding some good spots, and hopefully we can give out some good winners here.
Yeah, hopefully, my day's starting right now. I started a nice little pick five over at where's this trip? Monmouth. Big day of horse racing at Monmouth right now, first leg. So if I'm a little distracted, the first leg is going off right now, and it's always an event. The first one I think is going to play better than the late one. So obviously, and my horse just won. No big deal. I'm through the first leg.
There you go.
Dude, I should have played the freaking try. The three horses I had freaking ran 1, 2, 3. So moving on, I am sorry about that. Totally unprofessional on my end. But moving on, we each have a couple bets. David has 3. I have 2. David, as the guest, is going to kick us off. David, why don't you tell everyone what your first bet is, my friend?
All right, so first game of the day that I'm looking at is actually going to be the Philly and Cleveland matchup. I am actually looking at the Cleveland money line for today, as well as their team total for over 3.5 runs for the game. In this game today, Zach Wheeler is on the mound for Philly, and then they got Tanner. I'm going to pull an Eric right now, Bybee or BB or whatever his last name is. Go ahead.
I got these college. I'm doing a college football show every single week. I've been putting in so much work, and some of these kids have these names that are so goddamn hard to pronounce. And I suck as is pronouncing names. And I had one guy just fucking tell me I have no street cred, obviously, because I can't pronounce names. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I apologize to that guy, man. I know what I'm talking about. I just can't pronounce fucking names, dude. I am awful pronouncing names. And this guy just lit the fuck into me. But anyway, moving on.
So anyway, I'm pulling an Eric right now. I can't pronounce Tanner's last name. But point being, we got Tanner going against I don't know what you want to call it. I'm blanking right now. Zach Wheeler. So basically, in this matchup, the reason why I'm taking Cleveland here is because I have Cleveland in my offensive rankings ranked my number 2 offensively ranked team out of the league right now. Philly on the opposite end is polar opposite at rank number 24 right now. Whenever I see a disparity of that nature, anytime one of these teams falls into my top 5, they're usually hitting lights out, and Cleveland right now has some really hot bats. To that end, also to support those statistics, Zach Wheeler is sporting an average ERA of 5 with a WHIP of 1.4. So he's definitely letting up some runs here and going against some hot bats with Cleveland at home. They took one last night. I had them last night as well. I also gave out their team total last night. I knew it was undervalued in the market. I'm just riding that same train going into the weekend right now for Saturday because matchup makes sense, and so does the ERA. Tanner on the opposite end for the game, and why I'm taking Cleveland for the game here. Tanner's actually sporting an ERA of average of 1.62 over his last 3 and overall 17 innings pitched with a WHIP of 1.1. So he is in really great form for Cleveland coming into this matchup today. Against a not so hot, bats for the Philadelphia Phillies right now. So, that aside, also taking a look as I go a little deeper into bullpens for them as well. Phillies average bullpen, they're both respectable. They're both sitting about 3 with a 1.15 WHIP for both teams. So, even that's why I have comfort's sake in going for the full length of the game because both these bullpens are actually decent. But I think Cleveland gets after it early with the starting pitcher with Wheeler on the mound.
I like it. I like an attacking and pitching matchup is one of my earlier plays. I'm going down south. I'm going to Miami. I'm taking the Marlins and Rockies over 8.5. The last time an Anderson started game did not go over this total was May 22nd.
There you go.
So his last 9 starts have gone over this total of 8.5. That's 9 straight games. In that time frame, his ERA is 8.31. On the road for the season, his ERA is 7.9 run. This guy, I have no idea how he's still in the league. I have no idea how he's still pitching. He struggles as hell. Post All-Star game, the Marlins have the 8th best average in the league. So I really think they're going to be able to get to him and produce some runs to go over this total. Flip side of that, you remember Johnny Cueto?
Oh, yeah.
That's who's starting for the flipping Marlins today.
Yeah,
Johnny flipping Cueto. Now, let's look at his start. His one start this year lasted 1 inning.
Yep.
For that 1 inning,
I was going to say that.
His ERA was 36. So you have 2 pitchers who aren't the best against the Marlins, who are a good hitting team. I think the Rockies are going to begin to Cueto because this isn't Johnny Cueto from like 5-10 years ago. This is old Johnny Cueto who has no velocity on his pitch. Marlins a hot batting team, and you have Anderson, one of the worst pitchers in the league, whose total hasn't gone under 8.5 since May 22nd, when that game finished at 7. I'm gonna take the over 8.5 in the Marlins Rockies game.
Yeah, I really like that too. I actually had Rockies yesterday. They were plus 190 something going into that game, which baffled me because their bats were just better than Miami. I obviously weight hitting more than I weight pitching, right? Like when it comes to the overall matchup. So, when you see those kinds of odds that are sticking out to you, you just got to look at them like, what? So to your point, Colorado definitely has like a really good shot, and you got some really, really terrible.
You're gonna get some cheese up at the plate. You are gonna get some cheese up at the plate. Our boy XFL Jim. What up, Jim? David, what is your next play, my friend?
Next game I'm looking at is probably one of the hottest games of the whole weekend. We're looking at Dodgers at Texas. I'm actually taking the Dodgers money line here. I got them at minus 120, and the reason for this is in my rankings here for my overall hitting, I've got Dodgers as the number 1 overall offense in the league right now. Texas is my number 9 team. They both fall in the top 10. So you can almost expect this total to probably go over as well. But similarly, when I really dive into, the matchup numbers here, Bobby Miller's going for the Dodgers today. And, his last 3 haven't been terrible. His whip is right at 1. His ERA is at 4.5. However, on the road, that drops dramatically. He actually drops his ERA down to 2. And he's just a better road pitcher for the Dodgers with like some of the hottest bats in the league right now. Overall whip is under 1 when he's on the road pitching as well. Now, granted, on the opposite side, you got Dane Dunning going for Texas, and he also at home for himself has a really good ERA, but it's like 2.8, close to the 3, with a whip of 1 as well. So this should be actually a pretty evenly matched pitching game for both Texas and the Dodgers. I'm just going with the hotter bats and as my deal breaker or my tiebreaker in terms of like who should edge this one out. And they took it last night. I think they're going to take it again today. I couldn't believe they had plus money on them last night for the Dodgers going into that game, but I got the better end of that, and I think they're just going to continue to roll into Saturday with another win.
And you beat it. I was actually looking at this game, and I couldn't find odds that good. So you beat the line from what I was able to find. The thing that sticks out to me is Corey Seager's hurt. He may not play.
Yep. He won't play today. He's got a sprain right thumb. Yeah.
So their offense isn't good when he's not there this year. And then when you take out games against Atlanta, and Oakland, and the Royals, the bottom teams in the league, then it goes even worse. So the offense just really doesn't click when there's no Corey Seager in the lineup. So I like this play a lot. I was actually I was actually looking at this play. My last play, you mentioned one of those rookie pitchers, and I'm going to it. An angle for me that's as old as time. A highly ranked prospect in an organization making his debut when they are left-handed. You have Jackson Wolf, a 6'7" left-hander debuting for the San Diego Padres today. And on top of being left-handed, he's got a real funky release. And I think because the Tigers do struggle against left-handed pitchers, 8th worst batting average in MLB against left-handed pitchers. I think you're going to struggle, especially with his release point. A lot of off-speed stuff, fastball in the 90s. I think the Tigers are going to struggle. I want a piece of Jackson, but I don't think he's going to go much more than 5 innings. So that's why I'm only playing the first 5. Manning is on the clip for the Tigers. He had the no-hitter with a group no-hitter 2 weeks ago. You and I were both on that, but that was 2 games ago. Last game out, he should have lost the Royals. Tigers made a late push in the 9th inning to walk it off there. I think that the Padres are going to be able to get to Manning, and I think the Tigers are going to struggle hitting my boy Wolf. So I'm going to be on them. If you can find his strikeout props, I would invest in that too. Nothing crazy though. If it's like a 5.5, I'd stay away. But if it's like 3.5, 4.5, I definitely look to lock that in. That has not been posted yet, my man. So there you have it, dude. Boom, 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 dude.
Yeah, I mean, I really like that too, and I definitely like that you're taking the first 5 there. Padres bullpen is taxed right now. They are sitting, I was just looking at it quickly. They're sitting at about a 5 ERA average among the group with a 1.5 WHIP. If Detroit was to make any kind of run, it would be at the bullpen.
Padres are an interesting team. I mean, when you just kind of look at the NL standings.
Yeah.
Let's kind of look at the NL standings right now, sitting in the West. Where are they in the West? They are 10 games back of the Dodgers. And you kind of think at how much equity in terms that they've given out in prospects traded.
Oh, yeah.
And they're 4 games under 500. I was watching the game on Apple TV last night against the Tigers. They have a a 20% chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So do you think, because they do have Hader back there, do you think they become sellers and look to move like some of these pieces they have, or do you think they try to run it back next year? Or I mean, what do you think the Padres? What do you think they do?
I think they're sellers. I do think that they should probably give up some. Anybody who's a contender is going to look for additional relief pitching. I mean, they're going to look for another arm wherever they can. I think, Hader could even be one of those arms. Now, to your point of running it back, I mean, I can't remember how long Soto's deal was. It was only through this year, I think. And so to that point, like, yeah, I mean, they're kind of in a bit of a conundrum because even with Bogarts there, and I know he just signed, the deal that he did, but they've got some prospects that they want to bring up and could, potentially kind of move them into a weird spot where I was looking at all this about a week ago because I know we're in a weird period, right? Like this is like a week or so before the trade deadline, and so all these teams are going to be moving people, kind of in the middle of the night, so to speak. And it's going to be a lot to watch for over these weeks where, you're going to see a lot of prospects coming up like we do today, for debuts, and, people are trying to show other people off for other teams. I think Boston's doing that as well with Duvall right now. They keep running him out to center field over Duran, and not to get away from the whole Padres question and everything, but I mean, as I just kind of look at it from a team perspective overall, there are certain teams that I do think are sellers, and I think the Padres are one of them. And I think they're going to get into their bullpen to get some relief pitching out the door, for other teams, for the other contenders that are actually going to make a push. And I hope one of those arms is like Hader going to the Braves.
I mean, that guy's
or
nasty.
Ohtani. We'll take Ohtani. I mean, I'll take Ohtani too.
As someone that has seen a lot of Josh Hader in the playoffs, being so close to Milwaukee, going up to those games for the playoffs, nails. The guy is just flipping nails. You mentioned Ohtani. Do you think they trade him? I mean, they're only 4 games back of the wild card, man.
They have to. I mean, if they keep winning right now, right, and they are finding ways with Moniak and Ward and Renfroe in the outfield, Trout's on the shelf. They would have to go out and get another like big starting pitching arm, I think, in my opinion, to stay contenders. I think their bullpen is great. I don't think they have anything to make moves there. They just need to get healthy. And if they just can't win with the team that they have, which, granted, like I said, they're a hot team. They're actually my number 3 overall offensive ranked team right now, and they are showing it at the plate because Ohtani wanted to give up that game to Pittsburgh last night, and I know he's got like a splintered fingernail or whatever the hell they were saying on the TV. And I know he's dealing with something on his finger basically to not help his pitching so much, but it outside of him, it's like it's a very small like rotation to work with for themselves right now. And they really need to go get another starting pitcher is what I'm getting at if they're actually going to make a push and for that division or even a wild card spot. No, but otherwise, but to your point, like what his contract's out, right? Like I don't know, they could get a lot for him. I've seen all the hypotheticals out there for him.
The best was with the hypotheticals. You have somebody on Twitter who's kind of a big name in the media industry who has blocked me for me calling him out on his stupid shit, saying how the Angels should ask for 5 draft picks. But the funny thing is, in Major League Baseball, you're not allowed to trade draft picks.
Right.
So he didn't even know. He's here talking about making a trade for Ohtani. And he went on a rant for like 10 minutes with a guest about trading draft picks for Ohtani. And you can't even fucking do it.
You can't do it, yeah.
Another, like you mentioned, the Pirates. Pirates are obviously another team that, I mean, they're bringing up everybody to see what they have. I mean, that's a team. They are bringing up everybody. I'm interested to see what the Yankees are doing. I know the Yanks are currently in last place, but they're only 3 games back of the wild card. That's a team that can make a move. I think the Central Tigers are only 6 back, man. And I mean, I think the Guardians are bad. I think the Twins are bad. I think it's obviously a one team playoff.
Yeah.
One team from there.
Right.
But I think either one of those 3 teams, and I'm really interested to see what the Tigers are going to do. Are the Tigers going to sell off somebody to try to get a couple more young pieces, or are they going to make a push? Because I'll be honest, dude, I think if they hold with what they have, with how bad the Twins and Guardians are, I think they can make a push for it.
Yeah, I mean, they're not that far. Like you said, they're not far out or anything. They are getting healthy right now. And I actually even like, Manning on the mound for them today. Like I like their young arms where they're at right now. It's just, I don't know. I don't see anybody unseating the Twins right now is where I'm at for that division.
Because the big rumor is that the Rays and Astros like Lorenzen, and that's going to be the guy that they're going to look to.
So yes, 100%. Yeah, that I was going to say, like, he's obviously getting a lot of attention. He's had some great outings, going 6-7 innings with just shutout type games for himself. So I agree. If they do sell, Lorenzen's probably going to be the guy to go.
Now, another team from New York, the Mets. What is going on with the Mets? Because you ready for this? You know what they're batting post All-Star break?
It's got to be up there. I mean, because they're one of my hotter teams right now.
Dude, I'm looking at their batting average post All-Star break. It's 163.
Really?
Yeah. Post All-Star break, it's 163. And I'm looking at MLB.com/stats. So
Okay.
I mean, I'm looking at that. They've only scored so do you think they're gonna sell? Do you think they're gonna buy? I mean, dude, they're 18 games back of your Braves, dude.
I know. I was looking at that too.
They are, where's the what? They're 6.5 back of the wild card. And the thing with the wild card is you have the Phillies, Reds, and Marlins all tied.
Yeah.
So I mean, you have a 3-way tie for that wild card. I mean, I could easily see this Mets team just start to be sellers, dude.
I mean, yeah, I don't disagree with you there. 18 back with, that that many teams in front of you for a wild card spot, especially some really strong teams that those are those teams that you would not want to face in a playoff. Like that every single one of those teams that you name, like I would not want to face any of them in a playoff. But yeah, to that point, I do think the Mets could be sellers. I think the Cards could be sellers. Cubs are definitely on the brink of being sellers. And that's just kind of where I'm at with all those teams. I think the Nationals are going to hold firm. They may sell somebody, but like CJ Abrams for some reason, I know he's like a key piece for them right now. But if other people wanted somebody like him, to beef up their infield for some reason, I mean,
I'm looking at the Mets payroll right now, and it is freaking amazing to me. 364 million this year, dude. 364 million this year. They have 3 guys they're paying over $30 million a year to. A year to. And and then in terms of next year, I'm bringing up next year. I mean, next year you still have. Oh, I didn't hit update. My bad. Next year you still have Max Verlander. You got Sterling Marte at 20 mil. I mean, you got Diaz, who's not even playing this year, at 14.5 next year.
I mean, you know that the Mets are just notorious for giving people money. That's why they have a Bobby Bonilla day. Like the people that are just not playing on the team anymore and they're still paying.
I mean, this is just freaking mind-boggling to me. Just looking. I mean, I am as a math guy, and you're a math guy too.
Mm-hmm.
This is just utterly amazing to me. So, all right, well, we're done talking about payroll and how fucked the Mets are. Because I could go down this rabbit hole for a while. Make sure you give my boy David a follow at bettordp21. We'll be here every single Saturday around noon Eastern time, telling you the best to lock in. Best of luck in your bets, my friend, and we'll see everyone next week.